Hey guys, my name is Meshida. I am a Japanese stand-up comedian. Now I'm organizing English stand-up comedy show in Tokyo for foreign tourists. They always ask me, how did you start doing English stand-up comedy in Tokyo? So let me introduce myself. When I was a college student, I was crazy about Japanese comedy. I really wanted to be a Japanese comedy writer or a comedian. At the time, I decided to go to Eikaiwa. It's a type of English language school. A beautiful white lady gave me a flyer on the street and she asked me to join her English school. At that time, I couldn't speak English. I answered, yes, I wanted to study English so hard. I soon got along and I went to the English language school because it was not refundable. My British teacher recommended that I watch English comedy to study English. The title of the comedy show was Little Britain. I was so shocked because they made fun of gays, people of different races, and physically challenged people. We Japanese never make fun of those kinds of controversial topics. But I realized I really love black humor. So my teacher suggested I learn stand-up comedy. In Japan, stand-up comedy style is not so popular. We Japanese don't know what stand-up comedy is. We have something called rakugo. It's a traditional Japanese comedy style. I really love rakugo, but it focuses more on storytelling. And among young Japanese people, manzai style comedy is very popular. It consists of a comedy duo where two comedians make fun of each other. It's basically slapstick and wordplay. Here in Japan, most comedians don't make fun of politics and controversial issues. That's the main difference. Our comedy is basically observational humor. That's why when I watched stand-up comedians, for example, Jimmy Carr, Frankie Boyle, Louis C.K., Dave Chappelle, and Sarah Silverman, I was super shocked. But I really love their sense of humor. After graduating from college, I started working in a Japanese company. At the same time, I started doing stand-up comedy in English. 9 years ago, there was only one English stand-up comedy club in Tokyo. Actually, it was an English comedy cafe.
Hello guys, having a good time? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Every time I was very nervous because the audience was all Westerners. I mean white people, and they were all English teachers. For me, it was a speaking test. I worked for 5 years in a Japanese company as a salaryman while trying to do English stand-up comedy.
During the sex, we are bowing. Oh, it's most of us. Oh.
Then, 3 years ago, when I was 27 years old, I quit my job. I went to the UK to do comedy. First, I went to the Edinburgh Fringe. And I met Jay. He's a very funny British comedian. And he looks like a Jesus. And we made a deal. I helped handed out his flyers and he gave me a spot in the midnight show. I could perform 5 to 10 minutes every night.
Actually, my name is Meshida. It's okay. Hey guys, I'm Meshida. I'm from Japan.
Not only did he check my jokes and give me ideas, but also coached me how to act. Yes, he is my comedy Jesus. Then I moved to London and stayed there for almost 9 months, and every night I went to a comedy open mic. British comedians are very kind. They taught me a lot of things. For example, sarcasm, sex jokes, and even about technical things. I'm Japanese, and even I didn't know about it. I was a little bit shocked because my British friend said, "That's your culture." It was the best time of my life. I really enjoyed staying in London. But I spent a lot of money. After I came back to Tokyo, I checked my bank account. It was only 7 yen left. 7 yen. It means 7 cents. In Japan, they said number 7 is very lucky. But 7 yen is not very lucky. So, I needed to stop the repayment of my university scholarship. I called Japan Student Support Organization. It's known as black market financing. An automated voice said, "Thank you very much for calling." This phone call cost 10 yen every 10 seconds. I already couldn't afford it. Now I call them Japan's Student Bankruptcy Organization. And I started living in a very cheap shared apartment. There were 3 people living in a small room. There was a toilet in the room, but there wasn't a sink for your washing hands. Finally, I found a job in a hostel. I worked there as accommodation staff. When I started working and living there, I started organizing an English stand-up open mic.
Comedy.
Before I came back to Tokyo, I told my British friends, when I go back to Tokyo, I will organize a big comedy show in a big stadium in Japan. The name of the hostel that I worked is Little Japan. Yes, instead of organizing a big comedy show in Japan, I organized a little open mic in Little Japan. Little Japan! The first year, most of the audience were Japanese who are studying English. Yes, the laughter was also little. Since then, 2 years have passed. I still organize that little show in Little Japan 2 times a month. Please check it out. I started a project called Funny Japan Project. We are trying to introduce Japan in a funny way. And 2 years ago, I started my solo stand-up comedy show in Tokyo. First, I started selling it as an Airbnb experience. Now, I've done that show 250 times. Not just as an Airbnb experience. Now, I'm selling my show through Voyaging, TripAdvisor, Travel Junction, and Funny Japan Project's website. I've got more than 500 reviews. For example, an amazing night from start to finish with Meshida. He performed his stand-up routine to just 2 of us. Meshida is a very funny guy. It takes a lot of courage to work with small intimate groups as a stand-up comedian. This was a nice experience. Myself and my brother had a great time at the show. There weren't many people though. Nonetheless, it was very funny and intimate. So far, this is a small-size comedy show. It's obvious. I need your help. So when you come to Tokyo, please come to my show. Recently, I have a good news. The government tourism industry subsidized my project until the end of January 2020. This is my new studio. Power of subsidy. So look at this. I went from an employed comedian to government office comedian. And I made my own company. Now I am a comedian CEO. Even though I'm not good at maths. I'm living off everyone's taxes. Thank you everyone. Good job. If I can't get more audiences and sales, I'll collapse my company as soon as possible after January 2020. Please subscribe to this channel because I told the government staff I will get 10,000 subscribers by the end of January. I need your help. If you have a topic you want me to make video about, please write a comment. So thank you very much. See you.